Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to today's coffee talk from Planet Fair. We will be doing this every Friday and we will be talking like for 8 minutes from now on, and we will be having a little cup of coffee while we do that. So cheers to Margaret. This is our new format for 8 minutes where we update each other. Margaret and I have been doing this for quite some time now, but we've decided that sometimes things come around a little bit like, say, better with audience than without audience, because what we talk about seems to be very interesting for many. So we look forward to giving you our news on Planet Fair every Friday. And I want to start off by telling you who we are and, well, what's this going to be about? My name is Henrike von Platen, and I actually, in April 2018, during a conference from the ILO, the International Labour Organization, and EPIC, the Equal Pay International Coalition, which happened in Reykjavik, I met Sigurjón Pálsson, who is the CEO and founder of Pay Analytics. And I was so lucky that in the same year, in November, I actually met Margrét Bjarnadóttir for the first time in person, also in Reykjavik, during what they call the Global Forum from the Women Political Leaders, which has been happening like every year in Reykjavik. So Margrét is a professor for management science and statistics at the University of Maryland, and she's the award-winning founder of this, what I would say, super cool Icelandic software company called Pay Analytics. Margrét, where are you today drinking your coffee?
I'm actually sitting in Reykjavik. So yeah, I mean, what you were describing, it sounds like a decade ago, because I've been sitting here in this bedroom during COVID. So I've been hanging out in Iceland during COVID. Iceland has done quite well, so we decided to kind of ride out the COVID storm in Reykjavik, Iceland. So yeah, super excited to be here with you, Henrike. So you already described how we met, but Henrike is actually the founder of the Fair Pay Innovation Lab. And she's just amazing. So why am I having this conversation every Friday? Because she's an amazing fair pay leader and a visionary. So when I think about my own talents, I'm very analytical. So having these conversations on Fridays with Henrike is always so inspirational. She has just this amazing way of bringing people together and, clarifying the vision and, accelerating on the path to fair pay. So I'm super excited about being here and, sharing our fair pay talk with, a greater audience.
Super. Thank you so much also for your introduction, Margaret. Yeah, it really feels like we are on Planet Fair. So this was like the decision to maybe show it in a certain way today. And I must say, it's great to move with this vision, but we wouldn't be where we are if we wouldn't have like your statistical view, your analytics and all these very concrete informations, because I'm really more like I just move ahead and run forward to Planet Fair, and then I'm like thinking, okay, where are all the people and what are they doing? And that's where we need sort of the touch to earth, the connection, and that's absolutely what you are for me as well in a certain way. And for today, I think I would really like to know, because I know that we haven't talked about that yet. And the other day you were telling me about the World at Work conference that you would attend. And I know you've attended it, and I know that you've probably found out some great news on our favorite topics, so to say. So can you tell me a bit about what happened there? What were the insights?
Yeah, no, it was super nice. So this was the Workplace Equity Forum. And they had 3 parallel sections, and one of them that I attended the most was the fair pay kind of parallel, or the fair pay track. So I would say kind of reflecting beyond what I spoke about. So I spoke about how the legislation around the world is changing. So maybe we can chat about that at another next week maybe. But I think there are 2 kind of key takeaways or 2 themes that really emerged from all the talks on the pay equity track. So the first one is that pay equity has already moved away from being a nice to have to a must have. So whether that's over in the US or in Europe, pay equity is now just part of the agenda. And what is increasingly happening is that the focus, how we used to do pay equity used to be, oh, let's run some analysis, see where we're at, fix it, and then go on with business as usual. And the consensus is really that we need to rethink that approach to pay equity. And it's really about how we integrate our pay equity into our everyday decision making. So we need to think about when we make salary decisions, whether that's hiring, promotions, salary adjustments, we need to think about and put them into the pay equity context. So I think that was, really one of the big takeaways, that you need to integrate. And obviously, having software is helpful in that regard. Not to be plugging my own product, but thinking about how do we do that so that once we fix the gaps, they don't come creeping back. So that was one of the big themes. And another big theme was the kind of coming together of pay equity and diversity inclusion. That you really can't be thinking about pay equity over here and then diversity and inclusion over here. You really need to match the two up to kind of start to not only close what I call the equal pay gap, so equal pay for equal work, but address the broader inequities within the organization. So I think that was the other kind of big theme that was emerging.
When you say pay equity, then you mean the equal pay for equal work.
So
correct? I'm asking because there are so many definitions out there, and we talk about this all the time, but having an audience for the first time might be important to make sure what exactly do we mean with pay equity?
Yeah, no, it's a good question because there are really two things and two concepts in all of these conversations. And I don't think we have converged on a common language. So we have the equal pay for equal work, right? And that's really just focused on that there isn't discrimination of the employee to employee level. And I usually refer to that as the equal pay gap, or some people call it the adjusted pay gap. And then we have this other concept of the unadjusted pay gap, or some call it just the pay gap. This is really just the difference in the average. So if you think about back in the day when Obama was in office, it was the 82 cents on the dollar that he frequently cited in his speeches on equity. So and I think where we are at the moment, and thinking, where we were 5 years ago and where we are today, we were still fixing the equal pay gap. But I think very fast organizations are realizing it's just unacceptable to have an equal pay gap. Like, and that is fixable, right?
Yes,
Go. Right. Yeah. So we can take our mathematical models and we can close those gaps, right? And then the bigger issue of the pay gap, meaning the difference in average pay, remains, right? And then we need to start to think about and integrate with the diversity and inclusion initiatives, thinking about our pipelines, our glass ceilings, etc., exactly. Promotions, etc., to close or reduce that pay gap.
Yeah, that's what I usually call like fair pay, because it's sort of the end version of really reaching fairness and inclusion and the same chances for everybody all over the career lines and everything. And I think that's so important. But I do always feel, I even had that this morning in a call with some Spanish people again, that you directly jump to what's the difference and which one are we actually closing? And I said, well, we just close the gaps, anyone that you find, and you reach a fair status. And then in every country you have like a different word for it, but what you want to have is just no gaps. It seems so simple, and people still sort of start to discuss about what do we call them and which one is it. So yeah, that are great insights. I really like that. And I would have now so many more questions, but yet again, my coffee is half empty. I still have a little sip. But I know you were going to have a long day now, and I'm going to have one too. So the moment has come. We are already at our 8 minutes up for today. And I really thank you, Margrét, for your time and your coffee, my coffee. And I really enjoy this, and I hope others enjoy it too. And I wish everybody will have a wonderful weekend. Now, in Reykjavik, you are sitting, in Berlin, some are sitting. At the moment, I'm on a different island altogether, but I feel like I'm always on Planet Fair anyway, and it doesn't matter where that is, it can be everywhere. Don't forget us to join us on our trip to Planet Fair, starting on Monday, preferably with a nice cup of coffee, and we will be launching this, and then you will see us every Friday from now on for 8 minutes, and let's see what's going to bring the next week to Margrét and to me, so that we can tell you what we've experienced while we have our Friday morning coffee, which I look forward to, Margrét.
So do I.
See you next week.
All
Have a
right.
great
Bye.
day. Bye bye.